Now I know what you're thinking, it may look like I have not been present on my YouTube channel, but YouTube has been on my mind and I started doing a little spring vlog, and then gradually as the footage sort of built up for the summer holidays I thought I'd combine the two and do a bit of a chunky spring and summer vlog, because with my partner being a teacher we did some lovely things during the summer holidays where he had a bit more time, and I thought there was a lot of creativity within there as well, so I've combined all the footage together. And this is what I got up to for a few months between spring and summer. There's a lot of jewellery making involved. This is my Delft collection, and all of these individual pieces are available on my Etsy shop. So within all of my artist collections, from my Stargazer Lilium to my Strawberry, all of these now have a Delft variation as well. I also got back onto the digital drawing hype and started illustrating a couple of extra prints for my shop. This I thought of a carousel, but like a cottagecore carousel, so instead of it being just horses I threw in a goat and a duck for good measure, and I think the finished effect is so adorable and it's now available in the shop. You'll see throughout this vlog my colour choices as well. I tried to keep it like classically colourful, the sort of carousels that you get from the theme parks that you get in the UK. So I went for like reds and blues, and then the rest of it all came sort of like neutral colours, and then I wanted the background to be almost like a pinwheel effect, which you'll see later in the vlog, and I think the finished effect was really, really glorious. In the UK, spring sprung rather beautifully, so we tried to make the most of that, and I got out in the wheelchair with my partner and we went for a few outdoor ambles / rolls, and we came across some beautiful baby geese, and we couldn't resist just sitting there and watching them for a while. I am rather frightened of the geese in one of the parks that we go to, especially when I'm in the wheelchair, because I'm fearful that one of them's going to jump on my lap and try to eat me. I know logically that wouldn't happen because they don't eat people, but the fear is there and fear isn't logical. I used to work on a farm and I saw chunks bitten out of people's legs from geese, so the fear is warranted. But the geese that day were on their best behaviour, as was I. We left each other alone and we got to enjoy a rare British sunny day. I also wanted to get a little bit more confident with the cooking, so I made a glorious kachari for my partner and I. So it's a bit like a curried rice lentils with carrots, onions, lots of lovely spices, really healthy, really good for you, and very soothing for the tummy. It may not look like anything special, it may not even look remotely appetizing to some people, but it's soothing, it's tasty, and it's like pure comfort to me. It's just lovely. I was asked to do some portraits for an upcoming wedding, and I wanted to get some samples done for them. So I knew we'd be on the same page in terms of style, and they were chuffed to bits with them, which was lovely. I then was making some more wearable art jewellery because that is where my heart lies, and I wanted to do some Magritte. I love surrealism. So replicated the Son of Man, which is probably one of his most iconic paintings. It was the bowler hat with the apple in front of the man's face. So I popped that with the song. It was really popular last year. Charlie XCX Apple, or Good Apple, or something Apple related. I thought that went very well. I'm quite rubbish when it comes to music nowadays, so I think it worked quite well, and the effect was as desired. I wanted it to still be quite painterly, and people seem to really like them. In between bits and bobs, I was still doing my Delft collection. I think these work really, really well. And Stoke-on-Trent is really well known for pottery, or we are actually called the Potteries. So I think that's a swift transition into what I was doing next. There was an exhibition for celebration of Stoke-on-Trent's city status being 100 years. So I entered the exhibition with a piece for paintings being replicated out of polymer clay, and the paintings were from local Stoke-on-Trent artists, and it was a really fun project. It took a long time to do because it was all done, they weren't very big, but they took ages because I really wanted to capture the likeness, and I was really pleased with how they all came out. It was an absolute delight to do. My piece was called Painted Stoke-on-Trent and was a polymer clay sculpture depicting 4 well-loved paintings from 4 well-known artists in the area. Within the configuration, I decided to have a background of gingham because I need to stay true to myself, let's be real. And then the top painting was Leek Market by Frederick J. England. Then the middle left was Paperboy by Sid Kirkham. Middle right was Bridges over Canal 2 by Maurice Wade. And bottom was Bottle Oven and Factory by Doris Brown. In between getting back into the swing of digital drawing, I was also having a look through my polymer clay cutters, and I saw this wavy shape which I really, really like, and I haven't actually done anything with, so I thought I would use my collection aesthetic. So for example, these are the strawberries, so I went through each collection and decided to have a go at doing a variation of that. I did some one-off designs with this cutter and I really liked using it, which is why I kind of thought of doing something with that it's more kind of collection based. So I did some Christmas wavy ones which are available as we are getting slowly into that period. I don't want to say it, but I'm a big Christmas fiend, so I can't help but be excited. And then I also made some black and white, like monochromatic gingham ones as well. So I wanted to do something with the collection, and I did just that. So these are the strawberry ones, and I think they're super effective. They have a little bead dropper as well, which you'll see later. And then I also did, well, I did every single collection that I've done so far. So these here are my blossom versions, and they're really sweet. And they have a stud embedded kind of within that wave, so it's a chunkier sort of design, but I think it's super effective and I really enjoy wearing them myself. I did try and make sure that they were comfortable to wear, as I always like to prototype what I can, like the actual design, but then also making sure that they are suitable to wear, are comfortable, and I think they're adorable. I actually have a huge list of collections that I want to make. I'm currently, as I am editing this vlog, doing some Venus flytraps, so they are coming soon. I think I've done some of the accessories like the crochet hook and the bookmark and a few of the earrings, but once they are all completed I'll make sure that I'll pop that up in another vlog or something on my Instagram to let you know that they are all available as well. But they are super sparkly. I've started using glitter within my polymer clay and it is a maximalism dream. So I'm turning 30 in January and I wanted to make sure that I could complete some things that I wanted to do before I turned 30, and one of those is finish a sketchbook. So that is something that I have been working on and I have fallen back in love with it. I think I finally found like my rhythm with sketchbooking and I'm loving it. So I tried to plan ahead because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I don't like to have an element of, oh, I'll draw something on a whim and then it turn out badly, and then I feel like then the whole project is ruined and I catastrophize. So I tried to make sure that I got a basic idea of what I want to draw and like configure the pages in my head a little, and then that seems to help kind of iron out any problems that I may face when making them. And I'm really enjoying including artist studies within that as well, because I'm a big art history geek. At this point you're probably aware of that because I do a lot of earrings that are art history and artist based from the masters that we learned from all those years ago. So I also have an app on my phone that gives me a painting a day that I am enjoying so much because I get to find new artists that I've never heard of or see paintings of artists that I am familiar with that I've not seen before. So I'm loving that. And this is one of them a few months ago that I saw and I thought it just looked lovely. There's a lot of shadow work, so the sun was kind of behind the scene, so it meant that the elongated sort of cow shadows were there, and I love rural life anyway. Well, I volunteered on a farm when I was a lot younger and I've always loved that aspect of it. I find it so kind of soothing for the soul. I love the outdoors, and since becoming unwell and disabled I don't get to be out in the depths of the countryside because my wheelchair does not deal well with mud. But when I do get the chance I try my best, and in between that I will be drawing rural scenes and try and find my way within that, even if it's just sitting in the garden getting some vitamin D. I think that's so important to make me feel still at one with nature and being able to feel those things that I used to absolutely adore, but within a means that's possible for my illness and whatnot. I really fancy doing a sketchbook video. If that is something that you'd be interested in seeing, do let me know. But I'd love to fill a few pages, film the process, talk about my inspirations, how I kind of create the ideas that I have, and talking about the artist materials and having a good old fashioned sketchbook session. And then I'm really hoping that next year, after I'm 30, I can do a sketchbook tour, because I would have hopefully filled that by the time I'm 30, and that'll be a huge achievement for me. Speaking of being at one with nature, these are our roses that came up over our patio, and they were absolutely gorgeous. We have quite a few different types of roses in our garden. It feels a little bit wild, but I absolutely love that aspect of it, and these do grow so quickly. I was having a particularly rough day, one day in June, and my partner was like, let's just go for a drive. And we aren't far from the Peak District National Park. So we went for a drive, and then we saw a sign that said like an ice cream farm. So we thought, well, why not? And there were goats. And if you know anything about me, I'm a huge goat lover. I am a crazy goat lady through and through. I love them. And it was a massive surprise, and I feel like that was a gift of fate, and it just was a huge pick me up for what I needed. I was having a really rough day, and it just soothed every part of me that was really struggling. And then because of that, and seeing all the Peak District and the rolling hills, I was inspired to do this quick little patchwork illustration of a quirky landscape and the sun being a massive gerbera daisy, some daisies being involved, and it wasn't a planned illustration at all, but I feel like it was just what I needed to do to get that creative flair out of me, and it stopped me being in such a rut. I feel like it kind of got me out of that. And then in the evenings I've been working on a crochet project of a scarf. I made a hat last year, and then I wanted to make sure that I had something matching to go with my scarf, so I kind of made it more difficult for myself. I did tiny little granny squares and then connected it kind of like a checkerboard fashion, and it was really effective, and I'm so pleased with how it turned out. But my goodness, it took a lot to do. I've made it slightly shorter so I can wear it with my wheelchair so that it doesn't drag or kind of get caught in my wheels. I think in my last studio vlog I mentioned a still life painting that I was working on. I thought about making a piece of some of my favourite ornaments that I've collected and painting that. So I made a display on a table in the bungalow, and then decided to take a picture of it, and then worked on a still life painting of that, and I'm just really enjoying that. And I even took my easel outside when it was a really nice day and painted amongst the sounds of birds, and it was lovely. And here's an affectionate little Lottie pig who's just the sweetest little cherub and is such a calm, gentle, sweet piggy. She's so affectionate and gentle, a really sort of placid demeanour, whereas Gwenny is just pure chaos. And it definitely feels like Lottie's very much like my partner and absolutely loves him. So, well, they both have deemed my partner as the favourite and will get jealous when each other are getting affection from him. And even Gwenny's learnt to like fully lie down and sploot so she can get all the fussins. And then when he starts to fuss Lottie, Gwenny gets super jealous, and it's absolutely adorable. And I think I just have to come to the conclusion that I am not the favourite piggy parent. And you know what? That's okay, because it's absolutely adorable. I have a habit of falling down a rabbit hole with Pinterest, and this was one of the paintings that I saw within a inspiration board that I had, and I thought, you know what, it's a really beautiful painting. I had not heard about the artist before, but I saw it and it very much reminded me of like Romeo and Juliet. And I was reading a book about Shakespeare at the time called By Any Other Name by Jodie Picoult, and it was a really good book. I've been reading a lot of Shakespeare this year. Well, I've been reading a lot full stop, but I've had a lot of Shakespeare retellings and then some kind of Shakespeare lore, and it's just been a very fascinating topic that I've always enjoyed learning about, and I have a lot of theories about, and I think this painting definitely harboured those sort of feelings, and I love that. I have been reading an awful lot recently. I think I've read 90 books so far. My goal this year was 52, and now I'm thinking, well, now I've read 90, do I double my goal to 104? And I think I might just about reach that, so I'm feeling rather smug, let's be honest, and I'm really pleased that I'm sticking to that, because reading is something that provides me so much comfort. I love escaping into a different world, and it's just lovely. We did take my mother for a lovely little trip during the summer holidays to Bakewell. It's somewhere we've never been to, and it is not wheelchair accessible. I ended up just walking around with my walking stick, and I did really struggle, but it was beautiful. The weather was not necessarily on our side. There was some glimmers of sun, but what a gorgeous, quaint little town. There were so many beautiful little shops, which again, I don't think I would have fit in my wheelchair because it was quite narrow. There was a lot of curbs and cobblestones, so it was definitely going to be a struggle if I did take the wheelchair. Thankfully, the walking stick was just about enough, but we couldn't stay there too long because I would have ended up just getting way too sore, way too tired. But it was lovely. It was so nice to take my mother somewhere that we've all never been before, and there was a really lovely cafe. I had a Bakewell tart latte, which was just incredible, and then came home, cuddled my little piglets. We were watching The Witcher because my partner's back on playing the Witcher game, and I love the lore of The Witcher, and I think the world is just gorgeous and fascinating. So I made sure that the piggies were not facing the TV because it's not suitable for little piglets. And we were catching up on season 2, and then we're going to watch season 3. And then when Henry Cavill is no longer Geralt, we will not be watching it because he is Geralt, let's be honest, and I'm not going to pretend that you can't beat perfection, which he is. Now for something very exciting. When I previously mentioned the exhibition piece, we went to go and actually see it within the exhibition when it had opened in August, and there was an evening celebrating the shop of which the exhibition was in and how they opened up and their success, because they've been doing absolutely fantastic. And I went to see my piece within that, and it was just incredible. And then they announced the winners. There was second place and first place, and my piece won second place, and I got a little plaque. So my family were really pleased, and I couldn't believe it, and keep saying that I'm now an award-winning artist, which is just mind-boggling. It was really special to be recognised in that way, and to have that level of sort of acknowledgement. I think it's something that I've really struggled with, imposter syndrome, and I feel like next time the little brain demons come to me and tell me I'm not enough, well, I can look at that plaque and think, well, at that point I was, and that'll be really helpful with my confidence levels. And the final entry of this vlog is during the bank holiday. It was a gorgeous day. My partner knew that I wanted to attempt another plein air painting session before I turned 30, another 30 before 30 bingo thing to check off, and he saw the weather was gorgeous. It was bank holiday. This never happens in the UK, so we decided to make the most of that. And I took my watercolours. It was a very warm, beautiful day. My watercolours dried so quickly, I could really make the most of that. And it was breezy and it was absolutely gorgeous. There were some beautiful dogs and made some friends with those. They were lovely. I think we really made the most of the good weather days during the spring and the summer. A bit of health news, I was put on another medication. I did go to my pain management clinic appointment with my consultant and he was so lovely, really validated all my feelings. This is quite rare and I've not had the best experience with doctors when it comes to my pain, but he was wonderful. I've been put on another medication and while it's not necessarily helping the pain, it's helping me sleep, which is helping me have the energy to cope with the pain and whatnot. So I'm thrilled that now instead of 1 or 2 hours sleep a night, I'm getting a good 6 to 8 hours. I'm still waking up with bladder problems, but that's by the by, that's always going to happen. My bladder is just not behaving, but that's just one of those. With an aerogenic bladder, that is what life involves. The day I'm actually voiceovering this is my 1 year self-catheterisation anniversary. And it's been a long journey. I've definitely struggled and there's been a lot of blood, sweat and tears gone into that, but my goodness, it's been a journey. But I feel like I have a bit more control, I'm a lot more comfortable, I'm not getting nearly as many infections because I'm actually emptying my bladder. Like when you've had retention for over 12 hours, it is not a fun time. As for this channel, there'll be plenty coming up now. I know there was a little bit of a hiatus going on, but with having my appointments and then with it being the summer holidays, it's a little bit harder to film footage in the day because I really want to make the most of actually spending time with my partner. With him being a teacher, I don't get loads of time with him during the school term period, so having like a solid time off in the summer, we really want to just make the most of that. There's a lot of creative things coming up. I have had to temporarily halt shipping to the US because of everything going on with the tariffs, but I'm hoping as soon as more information comes with that, we can open that up again and make that possible. But it's just really hard to, with it, there's so much uncertainty and anxiety around that. I'm just a bit uncomfortable doing something when there isn't much information going on surrounding that. But it is closed, but it's hopefully not for too long, so I'm hoping to have it up by Christmas if we get more information for that. I can imagine Royal Mail are not wanting to close shipping to the US throughout that period because it's very busy and they will probably get a lot of angry emails. But as for my links, I have my Instagram, my Etsy shop, and everything else that I can think of, Goodreads, Threads, all of that, that is in the description below if you wanted to follow me. There's a bit more behind the scenes on my Instagram, and I also have a personal Instagram, whereas a lot of it is books, guinea pigs, and makeup, and sparkly things, and dopamine dressing, all of that good stuff. But that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video or like me, please do subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here and join me on all of my arty endeavours. As for videos coming up, there'll be a sketchbook video, no doubt, because I'm really enjoying that. And I've also got some creative polymer clay artist goodness going on. So I'll hopefully film some of that as well and show you some of those creations because I'm really enjoying that. And anything else that you can think of, please do let me know. I love my journaling, so if that's something you'd like to see more of, I'd love to be able to do that as well. But keep me posted on what you'd like to see. I'd like to make content that you also really enjoy watching. Just thank you very much for your support and for allowing me to have that slight break, and that's why I have done a bit of a chunky video for you and showing you all what I've been up to. I've not forgotten about this channel. It's just been harder to kind of do things in the moment, and made sure that if I film things like this, you still get to see what I've been up to. And I think I love watching videos like this. I find them really interesting to see what people are up to, and I'm a bit nosy, so I can't help that. It's just one of those inquisitive parts of my brain. I just like to see what people are up to and what creative things people are up to. But what have you been up to creatively? I'd love to know that as well. So if you come to this video and you've watched to this very point, what creative things have you been up to? I'd love to know. And thank you for watching. I really hope you have a truly magical rest of your day. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.